Down the horn, ladies and gentlemen. It is another day of Ragnarok. We are here in Aquila today. Now, just like the Barkingham Chronicles thing, I'm going to cover a reagent that you can get while doing the stuff for the Aquila Chronicles stuff. And that is Olympian dust. When it comes to Olympian dust, there's literally only one place in the game you can get it, because it is completely tied to this system. And that is, of course, Aquila. And there is only 4 sigils in the entire world, and they're all in the hub here. So when it comes down to it, Olympian dust is actually not too bad to get, especially now, because here's the thing. The loot is no longer school locked. It used to be, but it's not anymore. So if you're going in there as a storm, you could get myth items, or life items, or death items, or fire items. All this stuff, right? So that's just something worth noting. But let's say you wanted to get, like, I believe it is the level 100 Gorgon. Because I've heard that the robe is pretty insane. For level 100. So let's say you wanted this, right? And I'm going to use the ice for that as an example. You would just need the Olympian dust, and you basically just need the corresponding badge for the items. Like in this case, if you want the ambulance, you got to kill the sand squid 5 times. If you want the dex, you got to kill the gladiator 5 times. And then for some of the other stuff, you got to kill Cronus and stuff like that. I do not actually have all of my badges. I'm missing some. I just gotta look and make sure I can find which ones I'm missing, because maneuvering badges nowadays is stupidly complicated. I can never find the Aquila symbol. There it is. Yeah, I only have 2 of my 35 Zeus kills, because all the other hundreds of ones I've done before the badge came out, they do not count. Which is annoying, by the way. Like, this is stupidly annoying. That if you get those kills before, they literally do not count. So, yeah, that's frustrating. But no, so, when it comes to Olympian dust, it's basically just do any of the main bosses. Zeus for Olympus, Sisyphus for this fight sigil, which is, he's the only one in here, so it don't matter. Poseidon for Atlantia, and Hades for Tartarus. Literally, though, they're the only guys in the game that drop the Olympian dust. And as you progress, the higher the level of the dungeon, the more they drop. However, if you do want to maximize your loot, there are, like, one thing that people were saying is that you can get through Atlantia easier than you can get through Tartarus. So if you want the maximum loot in the fastest time, Atlantia might actually be your best call, because the upgrade on the number that Tartarus gives you is actually small. Pretty small. Like, jumping from Olympus's prize pool versus Atlantia is a pretty big jump. But going from Atlantia to Tartarus's prize pool is a very small upgrade for a similarly length dungeon. Now, all the dungeons are long, so keep that in mind. However, the best way to maximize your gain of Olympian dust is if you do these dungeons on challenge mode. And the reason why is because the drop rates of these double. So, yeah, just like they did with the Spellements, the Olympian dust was also doubled. So you can get a lucky 100 per Poseidon kill, or a lucky 110 for Hades. Honestly, if I were you, if you're gonna do any of the challenge modes, if you're doing them for the badges, hey, fair enough. But if you're gonna dedicate to one, I would suggest, like, Atlantia, because level 30 scaling is really brutal, and the mechanics of Tartarus are really brutal. I think you could actually get through Atlantia the easiest out of all the challenge modes. From what I've heard, anyway. I've heard that they're not that difficult, but I've heard that Atlantia is the easiest challenge mode. Because, yes, it's scaling you down, which is actually part of it. But because of how things work, you could actually get to Atlantia faster than Tartarus for basically the same amount. So you're saving time and maximizing loot. And then once you get your Olympian dust, you just come back to this guy, go into the trading here, and that is when you can use their pity to either get your gear, whether it is the OP robe, or if you really wanted to, you can get a pet, which you need 800, which is basically about 10 to 12 challenge mode runs based on your luck. Again, if you get the 100 every time, then it's only 8, but it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that way. It's not gonna be that realistic. So I'll say about 12 runs of challenge mode could get you a pet. Maybe 14 if you're super unlucky. But if you're going for your challenge mode badges as it is, then you should be okay. By the time you finish even one badge, you should have enough to get a pet. But if you want like a pet and your robe, you might have to do 2 badges. But yeah, just stack the hell out of it, because that is the only way to have access to the particular pieces in question. That's going to do it for this one, dog, because just like the Royal Brooches and Barkingham, there's really only like one place to get it with a few sigils. You just pick the easiest one. Now, before we go, or we leave, you actually have to go and look to see where every single Skeletorion drops. And this one I actually had to pull up the wiki because of the fact that I didn't always know. So when it comes down to it, the mythic Skeletorion pet, which is not the hybrid, it's one of these pieces here. One of these. So the mythic one you need to farm Mount Olympus for. I'm actually gonna be pulling all these up, like as we go, because of the fact that I haven't done this part at all, so keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to the different, like, hybrids or whatever, you need a fawn from the pack, and you need a Skeletorion. When it comes to the Skeletorians, they drop from different places. For example, the balance one drops from Sisyphus. So that's something to keep in mind, too. Matter of fact, where is it? There it is. Yeah, there's the balance one. You need to kill Sisyphus for a chance at that one. Now, for the Death Skeletorion here, this one, I believe you gotta kill Hades. Yeah, you do. Yeah, I literally have the wiki pulled up for these, mostly because I didn't do this farm before. At all. So, long story short, if I recall, it's probably gonna end up being a case where different bosses are going to drop different ones. It just kind of depends. So if you're looking for a Skeletorion, then different bosses are going to drop it. Alrighty, so the ice one, I just had to look, my bad. So let's say you wanted the ice Skeletorion. You can either pity craft it, in which you have to do the Hades runs, about 20 of them I think. And if you want a maximum chance of getting this pet for the ice one, you have to fail the puzzle on purpose and fight the boss that spawns via failing the puzzle. So the puzzle boss is the one that drops the ice one. But basically just make sure if you want these to go into the corresponding dungeon. And if you're going for the badge anyway, just go ahead and just mass farm for that badge. You'll also get your spell limits that way too. And definitely do the challenge mode badge for sure, because by the time you finish the badge, you should have enough to where you can actually go and make your pet. If you cannot if you cannot get it dropped, you can pity craft it. That's what I had to do with my freaking Potbelly. I had to pity craft it because the boss that I was fighting literally never fucking dropped it, not even on challenge mode. So keep that in mind. If you want maximum chance, do it. Just know that the drop rates are going to be horrible, but it could be worth it. But that's going to do it for this one, y'all. And if I missed anything, let me know. And if you happen to know where any of the Skeletorians drop, also let me know. But if you like what you see here, hit the likes, hit the comments, hit that subscribe button. We are at 700-something subs now. We're trying to hit 1,000 for the first time in our lives. Hit the link tree below to go to my Discord so we can hang out and talk. My name is Tyr, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good night.